From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm blessed. I'm going to pay it forward.
Helping in a time of uncertainty. How a Billings baker is stepping up as questions continue to surround SNAP benefits.
We just weren't quite sure how long he was out there for because he was really cold.
Lost walking the streets during a rush hour. How a Samaritan saved a toddler who escaped his daycare and how that daycare is responding.
People need to be more aware of what's available to them versus just commercially processed turkeys at the store.
Flocking towards Thanksgiving, how Montana Farms turkeys are helping you get holiday ready the old-fashioned way. Those stories and much more coming up in the next hour. Good morning and welcome back to Montana This Morning. On this Thursday, November 6th, I'm Mack Carmack filling in for Haley Monaco, and I'm here with Miller Robson. How are we doing today, Miller?
We are doing good, Mac. Always good to see you. And you're doing a fantastic job. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to, and like I did earlier, we're going to blame Mac for the wind today. That's going to be the big story, everybody, the winds. Now, we've seen some strong winds this morning, especially to our west. It's calmed down just a bit here in Billings, but as the day goes on and we anticipate those winds will start to pick up, have this area of low pressure off to our northeast, and these winds are kind of just swinging around the back end of that. Yesterday, a little cooler than we thought. We thought we'd get into the mid 50s, didn't even come close. Only 48 yesterday, so a little bit below seasonal. 32, pretty much on target for this time of the year. Top gust yesterday of 20 miles an hour. Those winds will get stronger. It was a dry day yesterday. We're on the hole for the month, but for the year, we're still pacing ahead, so we're still in pretty good shape there. We do have a little bit of moisture out there, southwest corner of the state, northeast corner, southeast corner and northwest east corner there, Montana and Wyoming. We do have now a little bit of snow picking up in portions of the Bighorns. The Beartooths, Absarokas, you may see a little bit more snow today, maybe a little bit of accumulation. Really, as we get into Friday, Saturday, a better chance you could pick up maybe a couple of inches above 7,500 feet. We may actually see a few flurries on Saturday morning here in Billings, but not this morning. Just some clouds out there with temperatures in the 40s and 50s. We're at 53 right now here in Billings. You can see the winds have calmed down just a bit. Breezy winds out of the northwest at 16 miles an hour, but they will pick up. As you take a look at that day planner, you can see as we get into the afternoon, could definitely see some stronger winds. Highs today, 50s. We'll try to hit 60 today. We haven't done that in the last couple of days, but definitely the big story, the winds. Very, very strong winds out there today, Friday into Saturday. Things will calm down beyond that, and then a pretty dry stretch and quiet stretch on the way after that. We'll take a look coming up.
Thank you so much, Miller.
Thank you.
And we begin this morning still tracking the latest as leaders in Washington look to the future of food assistance amid the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. As of last night, the White House is following a court order to tap billions from a contingency fund to keep SNAP benefits flowing. But when that money reaches families is still a mystery. Officials say it could take weeks or even months. The USDA says just $4.6 billion remain, enough to cover about half of eligible households for a month. Last year, the average SNAP recipient got $187 a month, with families with children receiving up to $574. Nearly 40 million Americans, including 80,000 here in Montana, are feeling the pinch from this federal funding freeze. With each day passing, the situation for those affected can grow more dire. But now one Yellowstone County woman is using her business to help give back and feed the community. We spent yesterday with her as she's donating a portion of her November cupcake proceeds to a Billings food bank. It's hard to believe that Jean Larson has only been icing cupcakes for 6 months.
It has just taken off like crazy.
She owns the Frosted Garden, a small cupcake business she started in her own kitchen.
I like my comfy, cozy kitchen. My husband built me a really nice kitchen, so right now it's working here.
As sweet as these cupcakes taste, Jean says the act of giving is even sweeter.
I'm blessed. I'm going to pay it forward, so.
It's why she's donating a portion of her November proceeds to a Billings food bank, because every family deserves the sweetest holiday season.
So I just like giving back. I know that people are really suffering right now and trying to find a way to feed their families.
We're going with the worst case scenario and hoping for the best.
One 6-pack of Jean's cupcakes is $20. If she were to donate that to a food bank, she could help provide 80 meals to families in need.
If I were to go to the grocery store and buy a case of soup, as an individual, it's going to be one price. If I go and I'm buying a truckload of that same soup, it's going to be significantly less.
Gail Carlson, the CEO and president of the Montana Food Bank Network, says right now about 77,000 Montanans receive SNAP benefits, but she says it's uncertain when and how those benefits will go out.
We're hearing anything from before the end of this week to before the end of the month. So we're just making sure that they're okay now and being able to accept food over the next couple of weeks as more product comes into us.
But for the month of November, Gail and Jean remain optimistic about the community's ability to give back in these uncertain times.
We're watching out for our neighbors. Montanans are incredibly generous.
I know people have helped us, so it's time to give back if you can.
This week, Governor Greg Gianforte is following through on a message, donating a quarter of his salary to help feed Montanans in need. Just last week, the governor said that while SNAP benefits are vital, Montana can't fund a federal program without federal reimbursement. The money is going to the Producer Partnership, a Livingston-based nonprofit turning locally raised livestock into meals for families struggling during the federal SNAP funding freeze. His office blames Washington gridlock, saying Democrats failed to pass a bill to keep the program running. With SNAP benefits in limbo, KTVQ, Family Service, and Master Lube are stepping up once again for a Turkey Tuesday right outside of our Q2 studios. This Billings tradition is back for its 31st year, running next Tuesday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Just swing by with the frozen turkey, non-perishable food, or an unwrapped toy. You can also drop off donations at Master Lube locations in the Heights or on the West End starting at 7 a.m. that morning. You can also give online using the link and text number on your screen. Again, that's next Tuesday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. right here in our Q2 studios. The head of the FAA and the Transportation Secretary announced that because of the federal government shutdown, they will reduce air traffic by 10% across 40 high-volume markets starting Friday morning. Federal officers say the move is aimed at maintaining safety as the agency grapples with air traffic control shortages. Air controllers are now working unpaid amid the funding stalemate. The shortfall in staffing is causing delays across the country.
Trying to lean into the fact that when we see pressures building in these 40 markets, we just can't ignore it, and we're not going to wait for a safety problem to truly manifest itself when the early indicators are telling us we can take action today to prevent, things from deteriorating.
Officials are meeting with airline leaders to determine how to implement the temporary reduction in traffic. This morning, a Billings mom is thankful after a terrifying situation thanks to a good Samaritan. She dropped her 3-year-old son off at a downtown daycare on Monday, only to learn he had escaped. Fortunately, though, the boy was found walking alone on the downtown streets, with a woman picking him up and bringing him to safety. Our Hannah Pettiferi has more on a situation that could have been much worse.
It's a call any mother would fear. Their child missing from daycare. But Grace Chancellor, who works at a nearby daycare, was in the right place at the right time.
I was shocked by that because I'm just like, you expect when you drop a kid off at daycare that they are taken care of.
A 3-year-old little boy walked away from the Learning Grove daycare Monday. A passerby saw the child wandering the streets during the brisk morning rush hour and brought him to Grace.
She had a concerned face, so we let her in. And she asked if this was one of our kids, and she found him at the corner of the street. So we just weren't quite sure how long he was out there for, because he was really cold, his hands were cold, and so we were just very concerned on how long.
Grace and the teachers at Little Llama Learners made sure little man stayed safe.
We warmed him up because he was cold out there, and he got to play with the kids. We give our kids breakfast when they first come in, and so we weren't sure if he had anything, so we were just like, okay, there's some food, and played, and our kids treated him really good.
MTN did speak to the owner of the Learning Grove, Shelby Kaczynski, and she provided a long statement saying in part, "This incident has sparked meaningful changes within our organization, and we are dedicated to rebuilding trust, strengthening our systems, and upholding the highest standards of safety and care for every child in our facility." Because Grace says a child walking away just shouldn't happen.
There's no way for them to escape because most daycares you're either buzzed in or a teacher has to open the door for you because it's locked on both ends.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.
Thanks, Hannah. Election Day is now 2 days into our rearview mirror this morning. Some of Billings municipal election results are still up in the air, with several hundred votes yet to be tabulated. That includes the very tight race for Billings' next mayor. At this time Monday night, Mike Nelson led Jennifer Owen by just 4 votes. That gap is now larger for Nelson as of the unofficial results, now 185 votes. And it was even closer in Laurel, but in the end, the incumbent Dave Wagner looks like he will earn another term with 51% of the vote. Due to state law, the results won't be official until next Tuesday, though. The Billings bar scene is shrinking as 2 West End businesses close their doors. Craft B&B on Grand Avenue and Peppers, which is located next door to the West End Target, both closed suddenly on Monday. The 2 businesses have signs on the door citing increased operation costs and slimmer margins as reasons for the closure. Both businesses share the same owner, which provided a statement to MTN saying the decision didn't come lightly and that they thank the community and loyal patrons for their business. Both buildings are already on the market, and local business leaders say they don't expect either will stay empty for very long.
I would say for the most part, I feel like things are being replaced. Obviously our downtown area, we're trying to add more here. We have, there's some vacancies down here, but, trying to bring some new restaurants and retail into downtown. So I think we're constantly trying to replace those things. Obviously a lot of growth on the West End where you're seeing restaurants. So I guess indirectly you could say, yeah, they're being replaced, just maybe in a different location.
Coldwell Banker says they are already receiving interest for both properties. And those aren't the only closures rocking the West End this week. The Denny's restaurant off of Overland Drive has already shut its doors. The chain restaurant in Billings was the only Denny's still standing in Billings after the Denny's on North 27th Street in Billings closed its doors back in November of 2021. A fire then destroyed the building a few months later. This week's closure means Great Falls is now home to the only Denny's in Montana. As Thanksgiving approaches, most of the turkeys on dinner tables come from big operations out of state. But here in Montana, one small farm near Big Sandy is carving out its own niche raising pasture. Raise turkeys the old-fashioned way. In this morning's Montana Ag Report, MTN's Anissa Coomer shows us how curiosity and hard work are helping to keep this local business grow.
Turkeys are really some of the most curious birds. Not the smartest, but definitely the most curious.
On the open prairie just outside Big Sandy, curiosity and a lot of hard work have helped build one of Montana's few pasture-raised turkey operations. Carissa Berggren and Joe Ostrom run Flocking Good Farms, a small but fast-growing poultry operation that's finding a loyal market for pasture-raised chickens and turkeys.
I think people need to be more aware of what's available to them versus just commercially processed turkeys at the store.
In an industry dominated by large-scale national producers, farms like this one are rare in Montana. A handful of Hutterite colonies raise most of the turkeys found locally. Most of the country's birds come from just 6 states located in the Midwest and the South. But here in Montana, small producers like Flocking Good Farms are filling a local demand for pasture-raised, locally processed birds.
They get to forage, they get better nutrients, and they're out in the open air, which is a lot healthier for them, which makes it healthier for us.
What began as a small backyard project has grown faster than either of them imagined.
It was not on the bingo card.
Joe says the business started with just 50 chickens and quickly took flight.
We were going to raise enough chickens for ourselves to eat. 50 birds turned into 400. And then we started marketing them and there was a demand, so we kept moving forward with it.
Now in their second year, they've processed dozens of turkeys, and they're already planning to expand. The couple has also started shipping statewide, getting fresh poultry to customers across Montana.
As long as demand is there to expand the turkey operation and supply more of the, whole birds and small cut.
A small Montana farm helping redefine what it means to eat local, one curious turkey at a time. In Big Sandy, Anissa Coomer, MTN News.